In corporate finance theory, we define two drivers of value creation for companies: profitability and growth. Profitability tells us how much revenue is converted into profit, what portion of the revenue cake goes to shareholders. Growth, on the other hand, indicates the year-on-year change of revenues, whether the cake is expanding or shrinking. So, to put it briefly, there are two ways to create value for shareholders: grow the cake or give them a larger portion of it. Given that Tesla is still a growing company, we would expect to see a strong double-digit revenue increase in all years from 2014 to 2017. However, the company has some issues related to profitability. This is typical of businesses that are expanding and have not reached sufficient scale to cover fixed costs. Okay, I suggest the following. Let's start by examining Tesla's growth first, and then analyze the company's profitability. There is one standard way to measure growth. It is applied across all industries and is always the same. It consists in dividing one period's revenues by the amount of revenues registered in the previous period and subtracting 1. This gives us year-on-year growth expressed as a percentage. If you are unfamiliar with this formula, please remember it well, as it is of utmost importance. In this case, we have data for 2014, 2015, 2016, and 2017. To calculate the year-on-year growth of Tesla's automotive revenues between 2015 and 2014, we'll have to divide 2015 automotive revenues by 2014 automotive revenues and subtract 1. Tesla's automotive revenues increased 24% between 2014 and 2015. Okay, perfect. I'll copy and paste the formula to calculate the growth of automotive revenues between 2016 and 2015, and between 2017 and 2016. Please bear in mind that it doesn't really make sense to apply the formula to calculate the growth of revenue observed between the first half of 2018 and the entire year of 2017. Because it wouldn't be fair to compare the growth of two periods with different durations. Now that we have calculated automotive growth, it would be quite easy to use the same formula and calculate the revenue growth deriving from the two other divisions: energy generation and storage, and services. Let's copy the formula used for automotive revenues and paste it downwards for the other two business lines. In situations like this one, when we analyze a company that has more than one business line, it is highly recommended to provide the year-on-year growth of different business lines, especially if they contribute to revenues in a material way. The results we obtained show us that Tesla has been experiencing strong double-digit growth for several years now. All three business lines are expanding rapidly. However, we should bear in mind that the sharp increase of generation revenues in 2016 and 2017 was significantly influenced by Tesla's merger with SolarCity. Nonetheless, Tesla's revenue growth has been outstanding during the time frame under analysis. Let's go ahead and consider profitability, shall we? The profitability ratios we will look at are gross profit percentage for each of the three major business lines: EBIT margin, net loss margin, return on assets, and return on equity. Let's start with gross profit percentage for each of the three major business lines. This is the margin Tesla receives from the sale of products after deducting the cost of production of these products. So, difficulties at this level would be very alarming, right? Imagine a company selling products at a loss before it has even taken operation expenses into consideration. To calculate the gross profit margin for Tesla's automotive business in 2014, I'll sum automotive revenues in 2014 and cost of automotive revenues in the same year, and will then divide by automotive revenues in 2014. please note that I'm summing because costs are already negative in the P&L statement. The difference between revenues and cost of revenues gives us gross profit. Then, in the denominator of the formula, we divide by revenues to obtain the percentage expression of gross profit. In other words, this tells us what portion of revenue has been converted into gross profit. Such measure is called a gross profit margin. Okay, very well. We can easily copy this function and paste it downwards and to the right to obtain gross profit margin for all three business lines. The most stable unit in terms of gross profit margin is automotive. It ranges between 20% and 29%. One could easily notice that Tesla's automotive gross profit declined slightly during the period under analysis, starting at 29% in 2014 and then decreasing to 20% in the first half of 2018. In some part, this is probably related to the introduction of Tesla Model 3. In 2017, and especially in the first half of 2018, Tesla was struggling to produce the Model 3 at scale, but still sustained expenses related to increased production personnel. Now that production targets for Model 3 have been met, we would expect an improved gross profit margin in the second half of 2018. The energy generation and services businesses are in their infancy and have a very low gross profit margin. This is a bit concerning, as problems at this level mean that Tesla is selling certain services at a loss. Services and other is a business line that is a definite yellow flag, with a negative gross profit of 23% in 2017 and minus 44% in the first half of 2018. Let's calculate the overall gross profit of Tesla. To do that, I'll simply divide gross profit by revenues. We can easily paste the formula to the right. The result we obtain is similar to the trend observed for the automotive business. However, the overall gross profit of the company is slightly lower due to the other two business lines. Okay, excellent. Gross profit takes into consideration the cost of revenues, but it does not include operating expenses such as R&D, SG&A, and restructuring. Tesla's EBIT margin will help us see the company's operating profitability, including operating costs. To calculate EBIT margin, I'll divide Tesla's EBIT by revenues. Unsurprisingly, the result we obtain is that the company has a negative EBIT margin, which means that the amount of gross profit it generates, at the moment, is not sufficient to cover its operating expenses. In the time frame under consideration, Tesla's EBIT margin ranged between negative 6% and negative 18%. In 2017, it was negative 14%. Let's calculate Tesla's net loss margin. I'll divide the company's 2014 net loss by revenue. Of course, the results are very similar to the ones obtained for EBIT margin. They are slightly more negative because here we have considered interest expenses as well. Very well, we are almost there. The final two ratios I would like us to consider are return on assets and return on equity. Both of these ratios will be negative, given that the company registered a net loss in all periods under analysis. ROA is given by the net loss divided by total assets. And ROE equals net loss divided by shareholders' equity. Let's copy these values to the right. Excellent. I believe this concludes our profitability and growth analysis. Tesla's business has been growing very fast during the period under analysis, surpassing the $10 billion mark in 2017. Over the next several years, the main challenge ahead of Tesla will be breaking even and improving its profitability margins. growing revenues and achieving economies of scale will certainly play an important role